Man, the day before the little leprechaun drops, March and March Madness and St. Patty's Day and a few other things right after Cinco de Mayo. It's your boy, the one and only Coach Tony, and we're back in the house tonight. Man, this time has been flying. Season number 5, episode number 1, and we're still celebrating women in sports and all the accolades they do. And we got a coach tonight that's on the women's side of the house. So I'm looking forward to this. It's your boy back in the house, the one and only Coach Tony, and this is obviously the Pull Up Podcast Show. We appreciate each and every one of you guys, but let's get a couple of housekeeping notes. I need to make sure you do one, like the show. So make sure you like the show. We've been doing a great job, one of the fastest growing young sports shows in the country. Make sure you send it to your family, your friends, make sure they like the show, share the show, and then more importantly, put your questions in the tagline for our guests so that he understands that you're being interactive tonight. But before we bring him out, Val, you know what to do. Drop it.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, I said bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up.
Man, back in the house with your main man, the one and only Coach Tony. This is the Pull Up Podcast Show, bringing to you season number 5, episode number 1. And I'm loving tonight. This cat that's on the show tonight is near and dear to me because the seat he sits in right now, I sat in that same seat that I was developing him, and the seat he turned out to be just an excellent young man and working on his craft. I already knew it. Had to open those doors for him. I can tell by that photo, too. He's looking all cool on that picture and whatnot. But Coach Kyle Upton from East Nashville High School here in Nashville, Tennessee, has been a stellar on the sideline, breeding nothing but championship year in and year out with the young ladies. And that's hard to do, to be able to do that. And now he's gone from a player to a coach to a mentor. He's starting to develop, starting to come into his own. And I see nothing but big things on the horizon as this young coach right now is starting to take big steps in college basketball, high school basketball, and who knows where he can go. But he's getting to start in the right place right now and getting his feet wet. And he's doing some great things. And I don't bet that within the next few years, he's on that next stage doing some big things. But I don't want to spoil all the information that we're going to talk about. So let's bring out my guy, Coach Kyle Upton. Welcome to the stage.
Coach T, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's good, baby? Welcome to the show tonight, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I always be amongst greatness. It's always a beautiful thing. So I appreciate the invite.
You got me smiling so much, man. You don't even know. It's just a pleasure to have you here, man. You know, for other people looking, it could be one thing, man. But, you know, as I transitioned from Chicago to Nashville, you guys made my life one of the best transitional moves that I could have made. Because I was only, you don't even know this, but I was only planning to stay here 5 years. I was 5 and out. I was like 99, 2000, 25, I was out. But that wouldn't have been a bad move. Why? Because we dropped the national championship during that same time. So let's jump into this with both feet off the high dive instead of that little baby boy high dive, man, like we're in the Olympics. But let's take the guests back into a young Kyle Upton's life so that we can kind of build that stigma so the guests know who you are. Just tell them a little bit about where you're from, what high school you went to, and then the sports you played while you were in high school.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for the quick introduction. So born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. Went to Antioch High School. Graduated 2008. It's a long time ago, man. I feel like forever ago. But born and raised in Nashville. Played multiple sports growing up. Also played sports in the Parkwood area, PAL. So all Nashville sports bases, Great Mark for football, Just a local kid, playing sports around the city. Had great mentors, had great coaches to put me in the directions I need to be in to be successful. So, including you as well.
Man, I tell you, and we get an opportunity to cross paths. It's 2003, 4-ish. At that time, you were 13U. We were with Tennessee Thunder. Had a couple of years to kind of build what we were gonna do, and everybody know what we built when I talk about it in a few minutes. But at that time, we're talking about the infantry of AAU around here.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to people about this all the time. There wasn't, as I say right now, they getting participation trophies right now. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And Kyle, I always kept it real with you guys all the time. But as you were in a young infantry stage, and and this was pre-Antioch High School, so you were still in middle school at the time.
Yeah, correct.
Getting ready to come out, when AAU got a chance to be introduced and I came along, we started to put together that Tennessee Thunder team. Man, how did it make you feel knowing that you were part of something bigger than just being at your middle school or something playing ball?
Yeah, I think one thing that stands out to me is the camaraderie between our friends, my peers. I think that at JFK, our friends became family. So when you think about Tennessee Thunder, you think about the great job that Coach Michael Williams did putting that organization together and putting everybody in the city in the same gym. And I think the camaraderie, the ability to learn to play against other teams, other players in the city, older cats, younger people, it just built a sense of competitiveness, camaraderie within the city. And it was a blessing. I look back at those times and I tell kids now, it's AAU is the best time of your life. High school is the best time of your life. So cherish those moments while you have them. And just remember that everything that you do is going to leave an impact. And I think that with you, Coach Tony, the Tennessee Thunder organization, I think that they set a lot of people up for success.
Man, I tell you, man, it was great, man. Hey, Coach Parker checking in from the 312, man, from the Shy. And welcome in. And my sister, baby girl, checking in down in Tampa, Florida area. Appreciate you guys keep calling in. We talking to my guy here tonight, Coach Kyle Upton, East High School, Nashville, Tennessee. Make sure you like and subscribe to the show. And I think, Kyle, you hit it on the head, man. I think that the introduction for me was just as good because transitioning from Chicago to Nashville, trying to meet people, trying to do some things, wasn't intending on getting back into sports because I had moved here on this marketing sales side of the house. And then along comes Coach Merritt and Mike Williams and my girl, Sheila Gibson. I don't know. I'm about to see the show, Kyle. I just had Sheila on the show.
Oh, wow, really?
Oh, man, it was great, man. And she's now involved with athletes, Unlimited here in Nashville. It's great. We had a wonderful talk about that and all that. But coming into that AAU, and as you just mentioned, it's the camaraderie and building. I'm gonna say something. I know you'll jump onto it. What I like more than that was that second year at 14U, right as we was peaking before we got to that 15U. We started to really play a lot of teams at that time. Around the city of Nashville, it was only 5 teams, and everybody was in the gym. I mean, Saturday was like high school night. It wasn't, Friday, Saturday night. And that was at the time, Kyle, we played on Friday night. I mean, we had to travel and play the same night you got there.
Yeah.
So that was hard. But as you just mentioned a moment ago, building up the friends around the city. Once we got to that 15U team, then we started to get to you and Gilner and Marcus and Tony and Ryan and Jonathan and all these guys that was coming in, Scott and these guys. It was nuts, man. How did you feel? Because at that time, we're pulling kids from all over the cities and different areas, and now we're having to make one squad and starting to play. Because the attitudes get there, and you had to deal with that for a minute.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just a melting pot of good basketball. When you bring kids from county schools, from inner city schools, students, also schools from around the states and the border states, bring them to one gym. It's just a immense opportunity to learn, to play against different styles, to play against different brands. And each day was a competition. So each day was competing with each other, show you who's the better player in the city, to show you who can shoot the best, show you who has the most swag on the court. So I think each and every day, when you bring in different people from different areas, it was just an opportunity for you to compete. and like show who you are and show like your name is in the city where you are. And I think that it just led us all to be successful, like through sports in general.
Oh yeah, and I love it. And if I got to tell two funny stories back in the day, I'm gonna let you tell one. One, we're gonna probably have the same. What is one of your funny stories of that 15U? By the way, guys, this is my leading PG, and I remember, as he came into the program, I told him in his face, "You stay with me, I'm gonna make you one of the best point guards in Nashville scene." Period, point blank. But we was grinding. We were working out at Fisk University, 110 degrees inside the gym, and I'm not joking. And telling me one of the funny stories of that year, because that was a long year, but we built a lot of closeness in that year, man, that you can remember.
Man, I would say, this story got actually a lot to do with you, man. I think we was heading in Florida. We was going somewhere. It was a long night, and people don't know like the sacrifice that coaches make, especially with AAU, where you're driving a van full of 15-year-olds that ain't been out the house all week, and now we going to Florida for the weekend. But I think that one of the things that like just showed your dedication towards us and our program, and you willing to develop us, was you had drove probably like 8 hours straight, probably 2 stops, and you started dozing off. And, and Yo-Yo, rest in peace of soul, Yo-Yo woke you up and like slapped you in the back of the head while you was driving, like, "Wake up, man, we gotta go win the championship." And that just always stuck in my head, is that like that the sacrifice that coaches make, the long hours that y'all put in, that we put in now, because being on the coach's side, and like making that sacrifice away from your family and your friends, just to like put people in a position to be successful. But yeah, that's the story that like that always will stick with me, because like just to see your hard work and your dedication by like taking time out your day and out your life to put us in position to be successful.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a funny story. You're gonna love this one. So we come out of the gym at JFK. It's cloudy outside. We on the front of the magazine, Nashville Sports Magazine.
Yeah, for sure. I remember that.
Thunder is coming. That's what I was trying to go find. We get down to Arkansas, and they tell us how dangerous. This is at the time that Little Banging in Little Rock was on at that time. And we end up at an underpass in North Little Rock, and these cats that was out there just out of nowhere wanted to play y'all in a pickup game. And I'm like, man, we got a game tonight. We're not about to do this. No, coach, we need some work. Let us go. Yeah, and we did them in, and they followed us to the gym, and Miss Mary Fisher was there, Derek's Fisher's mother, and they were like, "Man, y'all about to play Mean Street from Chicago and such, blah, blah, blah." And I never get that first game. I zoned us up. We get to the hotel, y'all snapped on it. "Man, if you're going to let us play like this, coach, we can go back to Nashville, because this ain't what we did." And we reeled off 3 straight 21-point victories, the only 4th seed, went down in history, on the walls, AAU in Orlando, man. And that just made one of my best feelings about the team, and more importantly, how you guys had bought in together and was willing to say, "Hey, coach, we already won. And if you can't get on this page, man, hey, we don't even want to play." I love that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too, like even what you say that, I think that also like me being a coach as well, it's like asking players like how y'all feel in a moment, like what y'all want to do, what defense y'all want to play. Do y'all want to stay man? Do y'all want to go zone? And I think like having that coaching style where you trust your players because they're on the court, it's just a sign of like your character and how much you trust the players that you have under you. So I don't remember that story, but I'm almost sure it's 100% true.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that we'll say to you. So
yeah. Oh, it was crazy, man. And as you develop your style, what kind of style that you say that you would have right now as a coach? How did you kind of put it together?
Playing style?
In terms of your coaching, well, yeah, let's go to your playing style. We'll get to your coaching in a minute. But in terms of your playing style, because at that time we was grinding. Remember, we was on Sunday, our 15U was meeting up with our 16U playing in championships. Remember that?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things that kind of helped me develop my game was like the simplicity of it. And that was during a time when it was like AAU and it was N1. N1 that everybody was doing behind the back, dribbling out their head, spinning on the ground.
Right.
And I think that one of the things that like I did and you helped me develop is like just keeping the game simple. Getting to your spots, knowing what's yours, like making the right basketball play. Just doing like small things and like being efficient in the things that you do. I think it's always a good thing. So I don't think I like mastered being great at one thing. Like I did develop being good at a lot of things,
Yeah.
which kind of like made me, of course, to play college basketball at the next level, and it also helped me as a coach as well.
Oh yeah, you guys still remain the only team right now that's got that pitch up in Antioch gym. That squad
Sure.
was ridiculous, man. People don't know that. Hey, we're gonna come back on the other side and pay a few bills right now. We're talking to my main man, Coach Kyle Upton, East High School, Nashville, Tennessee. Val, let's pay a couple of bills. We'll be right back on the Pull Up Podcast Show. Talk to me. Who you got?
I mean, just look at the lineup on the Millennials. You got Steph Curry, best three-point shooter in of all time. Matter of fact, we got Kevin Durant, KD. You know, Slim Reaper, one of the best players. You know, we got Harden, Joker, and of course LeBron James, the GOAT of basketball himself. And you know, he's the all-time leading scorer. You know, brings teams from the bottom all the way to the top. Without him, I mean, man,
I'm gonna answer that.
What would basketball even be?
I'm gonna give you that in a minute, but okay, Coach Justin, what you got?
Man, it's tough. I'm thinking about it. Magic is gonna be AI. Jordan is gonna be Kobe. Shaq is going to get the edge on Hakeem Olajuwon. Tim Duncan is going to get the edge on Charles Barkley. Larry may have the edge. Millennials, I got to X out the Millennials just because they have James Harden on there. If they might replace him with someone else that I could think of, I probably would pick the Millennials over everybody.
Let's go. Let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast.
Man, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show with your boy, the one and only Coach Tony, and my guy, Coach Kyle Upton, East High School, Nashville, Tennessee. Let's get into, now, as you mentioned, you go on from Antioch, have a great opportunity to go play at Walter State Community College out in Knoxville area, and then you come back, finish up at Cumberland. When did you know or feel that you really wanted to turn being a player into a coach?
Oh, that's a great question. I would just say, like falling in love with the game. I think that like when you do something for so long, when you do it from 9 years old until 22 years old every day consistently, it's like that's who you are. And like staying attached to the game, I think that one thing that like really like confirmed it, I think we was playing a college game, and Coach Penny, as you know, who's at Memphis Grizzlies right now, was our assistant coach. And we was in a game and they was making adjustments. I had got in foul trouble and I was on the bench and they was making adjustments. And I told him, I was like, man, we should do this. He was like, you know what, KU? He's like, you're right. And then of course he implemented it. And then that's like let me know that he was like, you should be a coach one day. So I always think about Coach Penny in those moments, just his guidance as well, and like being a mentor for me and put me in a position, like having trust like in his players, of course. So that's like one of the leading things that like made me think about coaching, and then just being around the game, seeing that how it can change people's lives, how it can help you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and just get you through things. It's like what led me to like want to leave my impact and be a leader and lead other people in the same direction that I was led in.
Yeah, that was great. You hit it on the dot, because I remember on the sideline, I always ask you guys, what, you and Carlos out there running the P, and Mark was going crazy. I was like, man, what y'all want to do? Where we at? And y'all like, no, Coach Tony, let's hit him. I mean, I remember at one point when we were killing people with that press hard, they would come over, man, y'all got to pull that press off. Y'all can't keep playing games. Y'all killing kids, at least make it a game of it. But, I look at it as, your philosophy that you talk a little bit about yourself. You talk about having energy, effort, and attitude. Break that down for me a little bit as you talk to your players about the energy they got, the effort that they're giving, and then the attitude, how it all mixes together to become a complete player and being able to, or at least a player that you want to have play for you?
Yeah, I think those three words are the philosophy that like we live by. And I think that energy, effort, and attitude are things that like you can control. Um, and I think that when you can control the controllables, you become a better person and a better player. So you can control your energy, how you show up, if you're being a good teammate, are you engaged? You control your effort. That's just by playing hard, doing the little things, boxing out, diving on the ground for loose balls, communicating. That's a part of effort. And then also your attitude. Are you confident? Are you going and playing with a chip on your shoulder? Are you setting a tone? How do you respond to bad calls? How's your body language? So all of those things are like things that we can control. We know that it's a team, but it's also so many individual characteristics that you have to be a great basketball player and a great teammate. And I think that like when we hang our hats on each and every day, like did we have good energy? Did we bring good effort, and how are our attitudes during adversity? I think that's the staple of like what I want to build, and not only in basketball, those are also life lessons. You can't go into work with bad energy. You can't go into work and not give good effort. You can't go into work with attitude.
Right.
So it extends like from just more than just the four lines that we play on and into the real world. So I want our girls to like carry that throughout their life.
Yeah, that's good. My guy Gary from back, I mean, he got a lot of shot time, man. And he's checking in tonight. What's up? What's up, G Money? Hey, you guys got any questions for Coach Kyle? Make sure you put them in the tagline so Val can put them up. You said something kind of interesting, because being a varsity coach and that is so funny for me, being AAU, then 20-something years on the sideline in college. Now I come back to high school, and one of my best gifts was to see your granddad and your mom, auntie, and all that, and man, and have an opportunity to have you over at my school and play. Now, you ain't have to do me like that, but it was good. But what was so good about that game, my girls were so scared. I'd never forget that. We went to play East. Man, you're going to play East, they ranked. I don't care. We ain't never cared who we played,
Mm-hmm.
And it don't matter. But I remember talking to you, say, hey, man, so that I don't devastate these girls, as I'm trying to develop and change this program and idea of how they need to play and approach a game. So, man, when you guys get a handle, just make it a good game. And it was a good game.
Mm-hmm. It was.
And it learned. And I think after that, we went on like a 2 or 3 game winning streak, because our girls felt, oh man, this is it's not that bad, and they started to focus. And that team has gone on. And one of my girls, Didi Amaguchi, the tall African young lady that was on that team, is now at Stanford, Kyle, and they created a club team, JUCO club team, JV, and she went from high school of probably not ever looking to now playing on that team. How does that make you feel when you see some of your current players go on? Because, man, to see you guys, and shout out to our boy Kevin Giltner down in Wilford, took the walk down to Virginia Tech, doing some big things and whatnot, and that's great. But how does that make you feel when you see some of your players really listen to what you're trying to teach them, go on and do some good things?
Yeah, I think that's one of our goals. I tell people all the time is that if you want to, if you come to East or wherever I may be, is that I want you to go to the next level. I think that's the ultimate goal. And I tell people all the time, is we win Coaches of the Year, we win district championships, regional championships, but none of those things really matter if we're not putting kids in a position to be successful. Right. And the goal for us is not to win games, just to win in life. So when I think about, are you getting a free scholarship? Are you going to school? Are you presenting energy, effort, and attitude and everything that you do? Those are the intrinsic goals and values that I lean on, and that's what makes coaching worthwhile. It's not about wins and losses or championships. It's about who are you creating, who are you molding to go out to the real world and be a representation of you for the kids that were under your umbrella.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't speak it better than I was teaching you guys, man, because that was our philosophy as we got started. We didn't give a damn who we played, where we played, whether in the backyard or an alley. We always ready to play. But the great thing about that was we didn't worry about the dubs, because we know that we just played hard. They were going to come, and whatnot. And then the same thing with the girls. This year's team that you got, the last few years, you guys have made some state runs, that you've had. And this year's team come right back. You got a point guard that's just, I think, is phenomenal. And the thing about it is so hard about, when I try to talk to people about the varsity side of the houses, you got to develop a good JV to have a good varsity, unless you get
For sure.
a couple good kids that can kind of surpass that. What has been, when you have kids coming in the East, you're trying to put together year after year after year after year. So you got to maintain that stability and maintain the where you're trying to get to. What kind of kids are you looking for to make sure that you don't slip and have a down year? Everyone has a down year, but making sure that you don't really have a bad year that you can go right back up.
Yeah, I think one thing that like we look at is like character. Like, are you high quality character kids? And if you're a good kid, that means you got good work ethics. That means that you are respectful. That means you're coachable. Of course, it's always good to get good talent, but when you have talent that aren't good kids or have bad attitudes or have selfish mindsets, then it can be detrimental to a whole entire program. So I think one of the things that we try to teach in our program is like being a good person, being coachable, being a good student, being a good athlete, and how are you in the hallways? How are you in public? Because I see you for an hour and a half a day with practice. How are you in those other 23 hours? What type of person are you? How do you show up each and every day? And I think that character lives longer than anything else. How people remember you, how you show up, are you on time? Just small things that we really like zone in on, and those things carry over to the court. Just paying attention to details, taking pride in little things that we do, whether that's in film, whether that's in study hall, whether that's in practice. Just like sweeping the corners. I always tell the girls, like, it's easy to sweep the room. It's easy to sweep the room, but like, are you sweeping the corners of each room? Are you getting the dust in between each room? So like doing those little things, and it always has impacts. I tell our girls that the smallest things have the biggest impacts. And when you have that mindset, it's just who you become, not only in basketball, but like in life in general.
Oh yeah, and then I shout out to my girl Kim, assistant coach. Man, you still got her on the bench with you over there?
No, she transitions on somewhere else, but we still in contact. She still comes and still supports us, still in good and communicates with the girls. So that's definitely family for sure.
That's good. Yeah, that's family, man. I tell don't get too big. I tell all the time, don't get too big. Let's talk a little bit about a couple of your players, man, the twins and Trinity and Talia, kind of put them on the map. How were they instrumental into the team this year?
Yeah, I think what you named, what you hit on earlier is that, like, how do we develop kids? And I think a lot of that is just being transparent from the jump. Trinity and Talia were both freshmen that came into our program, had a ton of potential, but actually really didn't play until the end of their sophomore year, junior year. And I think that just trusting us as a coaching staff and us trusting their abilities and not rushing the process. And you can see the developmental throughout the years of how far along they came, how dominant they were, just because like we worked every day. And they were always super talented. That has nothing to do with our coaching staff and what we did to get them where they are now. But I think that just trusting the program and also having great parents. Their parents trusted us. Their parents believed in our vision and what we did and what we poured into our kids each day. So I think that trust, of course, and then ability to do the work led them to where they are today, where they were pretty much like two of the most dominant players on the court each and every night because of like their work, their effort and their energy and also their attitude.
Yeah. Then what about your point guard? You got to dominate little point guard. She's what, sophomore, I think, right?
So we have a freshman post player. And then we had Kennedy Thornton, who's a senior. She's going to Kentucky State. And she primarily led the ball. She was our primary ball handler. She could score all three levels. Really talented, has a very, very high ceiling and upside. But she was great for us the past 3 years, actually.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, you guys keep coming back and back and forth and back and forth, and then you move around the district a little bit and all that. That was a tough loss coming down sectional with Pearl this year, man. I thought you guys going to eke it out, and then York Institute got by you. But the one important thing you and I talked about last week, it doesn't come down to development, doesn't come down to the energy, doesn't come down to the attitude. It comes down sometimes to the little bitty things, like you say, and that's focus. And when you're at the free throw line, that's what it comes down to, focus. And those games that could have put you in the state this year came down to simply focusing at the free throw. When those girls missed those and that last game was over, what was the conversation like that you had with them in the locker room to keep them upbeat?
Yeah, I think it's just focusing on what we did wrong. I always want to be transparent and honest and like name what it is and the reasons that we lost. However, it's just getting back and like working on things you need to improve on. So we jump back in, and I tell the girls, and this is any other program, you see it in college all the time. Is that like free throws win and lose close basketball games. If you had the ability to make free throws late or throughout the game, then the chances that you win close games are very high. If you miss those free throws late in games, and the chances are very low that you'll lose. So I think that just doing small things, and then just taking time to do it, staying in the gym, staying after, perfecting your craft, finding a routine. And I think a lot of the things that this generation has to like really improve on is just confidence. Being confident in your ability, trusting yourself that you put in the work, and the work that you do will outpour. So I think that just zoning in on the things that we need to improve is always how we uplift, because there's nothing we can do about the past. It's like, how do we fix the next incident, or how do we fix the next problem that we'll face? So just get back in, just zoning in on those things.
Well said, man. Can't even complain on that. Ask Cal, what's up? Welcome checking in. And my boy K Springer, baby. What's good? Thanks for checking in. Talking to my guy, Coach Kyle Upton here, East High School, Nashville. We're going to take a halftime break because Coach understand I don't like to lose. I got to go talk to my squad. I ain't trying to lose this game. Val, pay some more bill. We'll be right back on the other side with the Pull Up Podcast Show. Hey, I'm Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. For every Monday, we break down the game quarter by quarter and give you information as well as break down the coach. Join us on the Pull Up Podcast Show.
Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. Bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's the
Man, welcome back to quarter three here on the Pull Up Podcast Show with your boy, one and only Coach Tony, and my guy, Coach Kyle Upton. Val, when you get a moment, that picture that I sent you, throw that up there because I'm having laughing for a minute. We're going to talk about it.
Man.
Oh, yeah. You know I got surprises for you, man. So that's how I work. But listen, you know, the thing that I want to do, man, is give you your flowers, loving you as a player. I thought you was one of the players that I had that always listened, always wanted to go next level. You know, at that time I was in real good shape. We used to practice against you guys all the time, and you would pick up little bitty nuggets. And just like you did as a player and went on to do great things and whatnot, you know, now you end up being TWSA's 2A Coach of the Year, man. How did that make you feel? And what was the formula to get you in that situation so that you could be considered a Coach of the Year here in Tennessee?
Yeah, I just think consistency. Like just keeping the same routine. We're very strategic on like how we run things, how we run practices. It's something that we do each and every practice is that we do 4 8-minute sessions to implement how a game looks. So we plan a whole game in 32 minutes without even knowing that we're playing a game. So just having those structures and those routines. And I think the thing that like this generation needs is like structure. They need consistency. Yes. They need routines. And then once you do that consistently, day by day, you'll have good results. And again, there's nothing that I do. I think it's all the kids, the girls that come out and play hard and put themselves on the line each and every day and work hard. I think that those awards and those accolades aren't because of me. It's because of our coaches. It's because of our staff. That do the hard work every day. And I think that it's pretty much the kids. And of course, like we get those awards and they look good, but however, like it's pretty much about like what the kids do and what our coaches do each and every day and the work that we do consistently.
You got them running them 33s?
Nah, this generation different, man. We can't do no 33s.
Can't put them on. Hey, they can't do that.
Yeah, we'll be on the news when it's a 33.
We said be on the news. And you really be running them out the gym at that point, boy, because they'll be like, Coach Kyle, they're killing us. I don't even want to play. I got to transfer. You know, no more. But, you know, it's so funny, you know, when you're looking at that. And do you have a player that kind of remind you of your coaching style that you're kind of in their ear? Because, you know, we used to play all the time and you guys would come to the sideline. I always say, hey, Kyle, what are you looking at out there? What do you see? because I don't know if you remember, in practice, I always give you guys the example of the two soldiers in a bunker, and one soldier falls asleep, and one soldier's supposed to watch the other soldier back. But the one soldier who's sleeping wakes up, and the soldier who's supposed to watch my back is sleeping. So if that happened a few days in a row, I might well shoot you, because when the enemy comes up and you're sleeping and I'm sleeping, we're going to be dead anyway. So do you see some of your players that you can spit your philosophy in and say, hey, listen, this is how we're going, and you need to make sure that the underclassmen and other kids see what needs to be done and how we do things around here, and you're able to put those responsibilities in somebody's hand and you can trust them?
Yeah, I think we have in the past years we've had great leadership. And I think it's also important that like kids are there all 4 years. That's the only way you can learn. That's the only way you can keep the culture going, because culture like starts in the locker room.
Yeah.
Who the leaders are, identifying the leaders, and then also just being a start your role. I think that we try our best to identify roles for our players. Like, this is what you do well. This is what's going to help us win games. But when I think about a player that kind of had that same philosophy with me, I would say probably a guard by the name of Tamia Shaw. That she graduated in.
I still talk to T all the time. She was a dog.
Yeah, she went on to play Division I basketball at Austin Peay University. And I remember her freshman year, I would just say, man, you being soft, like you're not a dog, like just stand on her consistently. And she turned that corner by her sophomore year. And one thing that I really remember is that we were up, I think, probably like 25, 30 points in the fourth quarter. And it was a loose ball. And any other kid, it's a loose ball. We up 20 points. We're not going to dive on the ground. And she went full head of steam, dove on the ground, hit her head against the chair. And that's when it clicked to me, like, okay, like you figuring it out. Like,
right.
What you understand is that like you got to play hard no matter the score, play hard no matter who's watching, because you just never know who's there. And funny story is that the Austin Peay assistant coach was there. He called me after the game and was like, hey, like, yo, point guard dove on the floor of 20. Like, is that who she is? And with confidence, like, that's who she's becoming. And come to find out, a couple years later, they offer her a full ride scholarship to play at Austin Peay University. So
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I love T. What looking at as a former player and a superstar developing coach, what are Coach Kyle's non-negotiables? What are the things that you're like, I don't care what you say, how you say it, these are non-negotiables?
Yeah, I would say it's a lot. A lot of
it's a lot.
I do think that I feel like in leadership, it's always you have to be considerate. And then when you're dealing with young women or young men, not knowing what's going on at home or not what they face this morning, it's always a great place to give grace and just be understanding. So we do have non-negotiables. But however, like, we are willing to sit at the table. Scott tripping.
Scott tripping. You see him laughing too.
Yeah. But we do sit at the table. We talk to kids in our office. We have hard conversations. We address the issues, whether that's privately or publicly. But we also want to give kids the grace, because this generation is a lot different. They deal with a lot more. And I think it's best, like, as a leader, to like show up like how you want to be led, and be the lead, and be the person that you needed when you were younger. So we do have non-negotiables, of course, but we also talk about these things. We try to work through these things because they're still 15 to 18-year-old. They're still children at the end of the day. Right. And they have to understand that small impacts can be detrimental. So we do have things that we stand on. We do stand on business about certain things, but there's also things that, like, we are willing to talk about to work through.
Right. Yeah, let's get my Midwest bully in the house. My brother, another mother, Scott Wallace. You talking about trickle down effects? Scott talks about who's the best announcer. I don't even need Cal, and I can answer that. I don't think that me doing radio here tonight is without Scott Wallace. Scott, while I was at FIS, opened the door where we did our radio show weekly at Tennessee State. Kyle, I was like, wow, man, I can transition from this, because I was already a mouth, already coaching, and to do this and then talk to people, man, I was like, man, that's my avenue. But without Scott, I don't have that. But being that announcer, in the thing that you do, because obviously you came and played me at my school, we ain't got that. I can't get the nuns to sit on the sideline and do that. You know what I'm saying? How important is someone like a Scott Wallace to East High School's program?
Yeah. Sky. When I see Sky walk into the building, man, I roll the red carpet out, man. He does so much like for kids, and it doesn't go unnoticed from our end because what he does is that a lot of kids don't get the opportunity to do. Just to hear your last name be called out there and start lined up with some passion and intensity,
Yes, sir.
it makes you want to play hard. It gets the fire lit under you, or you can just go out there and be confident in yourself. He provides stat sheets for us, so I can know when a kid got 10 turnovers. So
Right.
I can now I'm crashing out at halftime because of Scott, but I do think that like the opportunities that he provides for this generation, especially inner city kids, is what's important because they might not ever experience that. This might be their last time where they get their name called in the star lineup, or they might get a praise or a shout out during the game. So it's small things, but I think those like small things that he does each and every day has the biggest impacts on kids and how they feel and how they show up. So
Man,
shout
I'm
out to
telling you,
Scott, man. I appreciate you and all that you
big
do
Scott.
for our
And
kids.
funny part about it, Kyle, he didn't even know I was going to give him a call this week anyway and tell him to do my All-Star game. So that's funny. But, I love him to death because what you just said, his knowledge of the people he's met since he's been here and put on. For me, walking in the East Gym when you guys are playing, packed crowd, I'm walking in. He sees me, throws my name on the loudspeaker, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, man. I just love how he does that and keep it engine. At first, Kyle, I thought, man, damn, it's like the newcomer to Funk Master Flex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's gravy,
and I
man.
will say this, Scott, too. Also, man, his role is so important. Like he can change the whole dynamic in the gym. I think that the boys had a sub-state game the other day, and he played a song like going into
That's the one against
halftime.
White House Heritage.
No, it was Cannon County. So this past
Okay,
Monday,
got it.
and the song was played, and it changed the whole atmosphere in the game, and the boys went on like an 8-0 run because like the atmosphere that he created. So it's like I said, Scott is a GOAT. He's so important to like inner city sports, and we are very appreciative of him for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean you just hit it on the head. Inner city, obviously I'm a Chicago inner city guy. People don't come out and do that unless you got some good things going on. And I'm gonna tell you right here, this is a free advertising. When you come to Nashville, East Nashville High School, you want to see high school basketball played well, consistent, make sure you get a ticket. And next year, you make sure you get a ticket. And like the pull up, you pull up on them and check out Coach Kyle Upton and what he's got going on. This is a difficult question I'm gonna ask you because I know it's kind of one of those questions that you asked me about when I was coaching you guys, and that is when your girls are done, like your girl get ready to go to Kentucky State and the twins and the girls you had last year and so forth and so on. Parents are kind of funny. We talked about that. At one moment, they loving on you. The next moment, you're the worst coach that was ever entered their child's life and whatever. Mm-hmm. When your kids leave and they move on, what is the one thing that you hope that the kid or the parent say about Coach Kyle Upton?
Yeah, I just hope that they say in their name that like I'm a person of good character. I'm a person that like shows up each and every day, that pours into kids. Unwillingly, I don't ask for anything. I just ask you to be the best version of yourself and play hard. And I think that sometimes discipline is a form of love. And I think that when you have high expectations for kids, they want to do well. There's no kid walking around that wants to do bad. There's no parent walks around that wants their kid to do bad. So right. I think the parent partnership and the parent relationship between coach and parent is super impactful and it's super important because those are their children and they trust you with their kids for 4 years to put them in the best position that you can put them in. So to a certain extent, you have to be receptive. You have to be willing to understand because these are their kids. And I don't have kids yet, but if I do when I do have children, I want them to be coached with a coach that cares about them and loves them and want to be them successful.
Man, that's great. And my boy, Coach Justin Allen, just check in. I know he's going to have a question for you in a moment, but I mean, I love that because, it's difficult. I talk to parents all the time. I do the Kyle when you guys are playing, and the piece and the part that I hate, that I love you just touched upon it, is that parent that wants to be a sideline coach, don't know about the game, or that parent that want to live through that kid, and it's always the coach's fault. But when you put that kid in a position to play and the kid then screws up, it shows the parent they want to come back and apologize. That's one that gets me. So parents, like Coach just said, let the kids be the kids. Just support them. Let the coach be the coach. Support them and watch the good things come about. And speaking of that, we're going to come back. Last break of the day. We got to pay one more bill in the house before they cut my lights off. Val, let's do that. We'll be right back in the fourth quarter on the Pull Up Podcast Show with your boy, the one and only Coach Tony, and my guy, Coach Kyle Upton, East High School, Nashville, Tennessee. We'll be right back.
I've always thought about how my mom has supported me in any creative endeavor. How beautiful was it for your mom to be the superhero in your life and show up in your creative ventures with this book?
People ask her to sign the book more than they ask me to sign the book. Sometimes I step to the side, I take their picture. And, we have to celebrate our mothers. We got to celebrate our beginning. So she comes out with me. Every event, she is there. Even when I tell her she does not need to come, she will show up in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, okay, you coming? Okay. I'm like, all right.
Right. And she got a bottle of wine in her hand.
What in the world? Why are you giving her alcohol?
No, I'm just saying. She showed up in the parking lot. She got a bottle of wine, nice wine. She's going to set it down. She ready for the show, Val. You know what I'm saying? Because the funny part about it is, CJ, I've actually talked to Val. I thought about, writing a book myself called My Man's in Them.
I love it.
And look at Val.
My man's in them.
My man's in them. But you got to read the book. You got to read the book. But it's a play. CJ, I apologize because Val should have dropped some old Dub C so you could have came out crip walking. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not flamed up right now. I got to hold on. Trying to get me shot.
Going back to school tomorrow, like I saw you, Miss Charles. I saw you.
I mean, I can crip walk, so please, but I'm kind of, I'm authoring right now. You guys are funny.
Man, it's fourth quarter time, baby. We got to win this game. Back in the house, it's Tony, the Pull Up Podcast Show with my boy, Coach Kyle Upton, East High School, Nashville, Tennessee. Scott put a question and made a comment, which is a perfect segue on the turn. He said, Coach Kyle cares about his players. They play hard for him, and it's great to be around. And that, not only are they playing hard, but the families, they support him and they love him. You and I talk all the time, Kyle, about the mental aspect of these kids. And looking at when you were a player compared to kind of like, it's not like it was long ago, right? But you're coming up on 20 seasons or 20 years within the next couple. And looking at that, looking at the mental aspect of these kids nowadays and the emotional load, what are you seeing in terms of your players versus when you played in some of the same things you had to deal with?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for that. I think that the mental part of sports is probably more important now than ever. I think that this generation has so much access to different things, social media bullying and peer pressure, and just the pressure to be successful. And when kids don't have the space or the opportunity to talk to people about those things, it becomes bottled up. Which leads to depression, which causes lacking confidence in how they play, because they don't have that outlet. Right. I think that the mental health is very important, and I'm actually in the process of putting some things together to help tackle that within the generation, and just all throughout sports, because it's not just a basketball thing. It's volleyball, soccer, anything, any sports related activities, because these kids, they do deal with a lot of pressure. They do deal with a lot of peer pressure. They do deal with a lot of social media. And you can see how it impacts their play. So I think it is something that needs to be tackled and addressed, because at the end of the day, these kids still have to find ways to cope.
Yeah. And Coach Justin adds on to it. He says, when you're looking at the mental illness or the mental side and the workload they've got balancing sports, school, and everything else, kind of like what Scott mentioned earlier, some of these guys got parents that, that becomes a whole nother subject within itself. He said, what's the one positive and negative thing that you've seen, because these kids are social media kids. So whatever they see the WNBA girl or the NBA player do, they want to do it. And then on top of that, he asked, what can TSSA in a whole, that new transfer rule that last year you had to kind of be in the district and be accepted. Now the new rule coming up this fall, hey, now I'm like college. I get one free transfer. It doesn't make a difference where I go. How's all that play in the picture of you continue to have a successful program at East?
Yeah, I think thank you, Justin, for asking that question. That's a great question. I think that one of the negative things that we see now is just the peer pressure to be successful. A girl can get crossed over and it can go viral. And now millions of people see it, and you was just playing hard on defense. You was trying to make a play on defense, but you slipped and fell, and now you're all over the internet because you wanted to play hard. And how that impacts their mind, how that impacts how they show up to the next practice, the next play. I think that's one of the social media downfalls. But also, social media is also a gift and a curse, because that girl that crossed that girl and made a shot, now she has exposure. So I think it's just your viewpoint and how you look at it. Social media is a gift and a curse, and it can damage kids, and it can help them as well. So I just think it's finding the positives in that moment, seeing how you can use social media to build your character, build your platform, to put you in a position to be successful. And then when things on social media aren't going your way, learning how to turn it off, learning how to disconnect, learning how to stay grounded in who you are and the person that you want to become, instead of that instant gratification you see on your phones.
I totally agree. And you missed it about 10 years or so, 15 at the most. You could have got that NIL, man. We could have been out of here.
Oh, yeah. We could have had some money.
But, man, looking at that, you and I talk a little bit about the change in the game, the mental aspects and what's going on. And people complain about, what they see with LeBron and he's doing his thing in the women. Looking at the Europeans. Now, the Euros haven't affected women basketball as much as it has done with the men's basketball, but NIL has kind of affected both sides. You and I see right now that even in the pros, the WNBAs, probably if you put everybody in, I had this conversation today, if you had all the women in the WNBA collectively, you may not even make up one NBA salary in the hundreds of millions of dollars. What do you think for women's sports? Because we've seen the big change thanks to Don Staley and what's happening at South Carolina in the past few years, and love it to death. And women basketball is on the rise. Women's soccer is on the rise. Now flag football is there. What do you think that the general public or business people in general need to do to make sure that this is not just a falsity? This is something that if you get behind, we can make sure we support the women sports and make sure they're going to be successful in the future to come.
Yeah, I think you named it. I think that just support, and I think that with women's sports, it gets overshadowed because the athletic ability. They're not dunking, they're not shooting fadeaway 3-pointers from the half court line. But what they are doing is being extremely detailed. They are listening to game plans. They are putting in systems and counter systems to help them be successful. So just as how athletic the men's side is, the mental side of women's sports is just not, if not better, because of their lack of athletic ability. So I think that the details for all women's sports should be appreciated a lot more. Then people just gotta get behind it and understand that a good team is a good team, a good player is a good player, no matter who they are, what they can do or what they can do. And if you're a fan of sports, you should be a fan of all sports, just not men's sports.
Yeah. It makes me sick sometimes, Cal, when I hear Steph Curry, LeBron, Iguodala, all these guys got to take as NBA guys got to take $1 million, which is good, but throw in a pot to help the women out. And your question goes into Mia. Mia says that, hey, Coach, when you're looking at the skills, do you believe most of these skills are overlooked in terms of girls basketball? Because you mentioned, that's why I love watching girls basketball, and why I chose to flip over from men to women was because of what you said, not being able to dunk. Yeah, unless you get a Candace Parker or at least a Leslie type player, Brittany Griner type player. But for the most part, be able to, they can still punch dribble. They got the snatch dribble. They got the spin outs to move. Yeah. And if you haven't seen, you better turn your TV on Juju Watkins. I keep telling everybody. I know she hurt, but she the business and all that. But what do you think about her Mia's question?
Yeah, I think that most of the time girls do go overlooked. just because of their athletic ability. But like you just named, is that they can do just as much, if not more, than the boys, because they can rely on the athletic ability genetically, of course. However, but they are just as skilled, even if not more skilled than boys, because some of the things that they do in transition, finishing around the rim, you have to be more skilled to make those shots where you can't rely on that athletic ability. So I do think that some skills are definitely overlooked. I do think that it's just recognizing and seeing and appreciating sports and basketball and girls' athletic abilities, whether it's flag football, soccer, basketball, tennis. Girls, women, and girls are here to stay in sports, and I think that men and other people just have to be supportive of that.
Yeah, I think so. And I got a question that was texting me, a very, this difficult question I was going to ask along the same lines because I get it asked me all the time. And that is basically when we're looking at the new wave of NIL, and we know that's changed the game, changed the landscape and everything it is. And I'm struggling right now, Kyle, to get some of my players, men and women, boys and girls, high school opportunity. It's great to hear your player get ready to go to Kentucky State. My speech is not the same speech that I gave you guys, right? It wasn't that 05, 06, 07 that we was grinding it out. That speech has to change. So looking at the new players and these new girls, when they walk through and they tell you, Coach Kyle, I want to play at the next level. Back in the day, everybody, D1 this, D1 that. Now that you can go play JUCO D3, and as long as you're doing what you got to do, make moves up. What advice are you giving your young players as they're coming through the program to let them know that you're not only supporting them, but you're giving them the correct information to get them to the next level?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. I think that in our program, I think that we've had, 20, 26, 27 kids that played in the college level since the early 2000s. So, and that's at every level. That's Division I, that's JUCO, that's NAIA, that's Division II. And I think that just tradition, I think traditions and histories repeat themselves. I think that when you're consistent in the program, and it doesn't just start with me, it starts with Coach Donaldson, the people that were always there before her, is that like once you have certain standards, once you have certain expectations, it becomes like kind of mandatory. Like, I want you to go to school. I'm at East because I want to play at the next level. I'm here because I want to be developed in a form where I can earn a free scholarship. So I think that the landscape now has changed tremendously, especially in the college aspect, is where if you don't have it, then you don't get it, pretty much. And I think that's it's a lot of mixed reviews when it comes to that, because if I'm an 18, 19-year-old child and somebody tell me I can make $100,000,
right,
and I'm gonna choose that school whether I'm playing or not. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
I think it's just different, and the landscape has changed, but it come down to like your morals now, your integrity, who you are as a person. Is money more important than you than who you become? And I think that's just a question that like also ties back into mental health of things, is that these kids have so many different pressures, so many different responsibilities. We don't know if he needs that NIL deal to pay for his mama's car or her insurance. So there's a lot of things. Or a hospital. It could be anything. Like you have the opportunity to provide for your family, and when you have kids that come from nothing, you can't turn that opportunity down, no matter where it is.
Hey, I tell you, man, I love you, boy. That's why I tell little Tony all the time. He always talk about, you already know you got a good coach in your corner when you always communicate with him years later. My coach, high school, Morton Park, Chicago, just passed away, from my class 86. And I still, every time I brought the AAU to Chicago like you guys, I always called him. If there was one thing that you could leave advice for young ball players right now coming up in the game and all that, what would that one piece of advice be?
I would just say you get out what you put in. If you're working hard, you're in the gym, then that's gonna show. If you're locked in the classroom and locked in your academics, that's gonna show. But I think another thing, I talked to one of my kids today during our exit meeting, is that sometimes you just have to outwork people. People go work out in the gym, people go once a week, but like, are you willing to outwork the next person? Yeah. And that's really what it comes down to, because working out is easy, but outworking somebody is difficult. And I think that the more work that you put in, whether that's emotionally, mentally, spiritually, I think that you become who you are. And when you do good by yourself and you do good to yourself, good things happen to you.
There you go. I love that. And Val just had a picture she took down. Val, put that picture back up for me, please.
Yeah, I gotta look at that. I gotta zoom in so I can get a good
Yeah,
look
she got to zoom in. She got to put that picture back up. That was one I wanted earlier in the show, but she just threw it up, the team picture, the one that's the team picture.
Yeah, I need to see that. And I'm sure some of my boys online
Right
too.
there.
I know,
Yeah, man. Hey, that was that national championship team, right? And we coming up on this is 20 this year, man.
Yeah.
20 this year. We got to get the guys back together, man. Look at you, Carlo, Jonathan, Mike Williams, Tony, Gilton, Scotty, Ryan, man.
Marcus, everybody in there. And I think just look at that picture too, Coach Tony, is that we had what's that, 9 kids?
9 kids we ended up and 9 kids, and 9 of you guys, as you said, bit into the system, bit into the program, had the same goal in common, and we executed that goal, man. I think
just looking at that picture reminds me of like the unselfishness. Like nobody wanted to take the last shot, nobody wanted to take the first shot. I think that we all had one common goal, and that was just to play for one another. But this also comes with like your chemistry.
Exactly right. And those 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" guys on there, man.
Yeah. TJ probably 6'3", 6'4", the tallest ones, but I think we're just so connected. Yeah, I think we're just so connected as a group and as a unit. And of course that started with you. And you pouring that into us that like we didn't want to see each other fail. And I think that everybody just bought in and did whatever it took, and was basically like stars at their roles, like we talked about earlier. Like Jeremy we just call him fumbles because he couldn't catch, but he'll go out there and rebound and get a couple elbows. So I think that just buying into their role and being unselfish and just being a connected group is always going to be a great thing. So
that is great, man. I want
to
what
year was that?
That was our 05-06 championship, man. 20, boy, 20. Like that. Time moves like that, man. But man, you got the door wide open, man. Of course, this ain't gonna be our last conversation. Like Scott used to tell me all the time, man, you coming back up in here. So you got to come back up in here again, man. But I want that state championship, TWSA, in your hands, coming back up in here, man. I appreciate you. Make sure you don't go nowhere on the other side. When we get off the show, we're gonna be backstage. We act a little fool, but hey, thank you, man. This has been great. Coach Tony here on the Pull Up Podcast Show with my special guests, my mans and them, Coach Kyle Upton, Nashville, Tennessee, East High School, doing this thing, Coach of the Year, 2A TWSA. It's been appreciative, man. I appreciate it. And Matt, by the way, Kyle, we're doing some big things. As your girls are coming through school, make sure you letting them know, the twins and all of them. You know, I had an opportunity to work on my sports marketing as they launched NIL, and back in 2023, I launched the Rise NIL Sports Marketing Company. Got 7 kids signed to me right now. We got some great deals going on, a couple of Adidas things we got, and it's been really wonderful. To learn a little bit more, reach out to me directly at www.therizenil.com, where we teach these kids how to unleash their potentials with themselves and with the brand, and make sure they can use their social media to maximize their potential and all that, so that's what we kind of do with inside the brand. And then the cool part about it is, man, Kyle, I'm not only doing, the sports side of the house, man. On Tuesday nights, I get with my girl Val, the voice, and she got a little entertainment show, man. I get to kind of open up and go crazy. And on Tuesday nights, it's called Interludes Talk on Tuesday. So if you want to ever tune in,
yeah, for sure, I'm gonna join.
Check that out, man. It's been absolutely great, dog. I mean, hey, every year you coach, I'm always in that gym watching you, man. It's not been a year that you've been on the sideline that haven't been at the gym watching you, man. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise. And I appreciate you, man, all that you do. And being a leader in my life and guiding me in the right directions as a man. I appreciate you. Your hard work doesn't go unnoticed, like I said earlier. And just showing up, man, it's important. And like what you've instilled in me is like what I plan to instill in others. So I appreciate you. I love you, and thank you for everything that you do for us.
Man, you're welcome. Just keep it up. And then next week, I got a big time player, Kyle. Stanford University, my girl, Carolyn Moose Hearn. She's going to be on the show next week. Nutritionist right now. Check it out, Kyle. 4-time champ, Stanford. 4-time champ, at Team USA. WNBA champ. Man, she's doing, and she about 6'6". So hey, I need to get her to get you some post moves and
sure.
man, see what's up. But next week, make sure you tune in because she's going to do something. And by the way, for all that are listening right now, and Kyle, please let some of your players know, I'm going to be starting a new segment within once a month or once or twice a month. It's called Diamond in the Rough. So if you know an athlete, a young athlete in high school that no one's talking about, who needs to have some notoriety and needs to have some exposure, send them in to me or DM me at IG. I'm on the ground now, Kyle, at
okay,
Podcast
I like
so
it.
Get at me at the Pull Up Podcast Show on the ground. Send me some information. Help me grow that. But man, it's been great. But you know, we always say, put that peace sign up like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Out. Peace.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, I said bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, Kev is the engineer. Val is the one you hear. Hey, Coach Tony got the sports show. Let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, I said Kev is the engineer. Val is the one you hear. Hey, Coach Tony got the sports show. Let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. Let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast.